Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the finals of the Blockchain in Government Hackathon, Blingathon. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the moment where nearly 30 teams have been working for nearly 30 hours. So I've got a full program, but I have to first introduce a few things for people who don't know what a hackathon is. So I have a presentation here about our Blingathon, and after the presentation I will tell the teams who was nominated, and then after that we will start the jury process. You see, this is the Blingathon, which is organized by Interreg Project Bling, and a hackathon is a competition, an innovation competition, an inventors competition. So in the last 30 hours, 140 participants in about 30 teams have been working on challenges, and they have been trying to solve these challenges with blockchain. Right? Teams from Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, the UK, USA, Luxembourg, Austria, Argentina, Dubai, etc. have been doing their best, working around the clock, and what they made is going to be presented here. Well, presented here, nearly 30 teams have entered the competition. Not everyone has delivered, and different teams have nominated 2 or 3 teams from their track, and they will go into the finals. And with the jury members that are already waiting for us, we will ask some questions, and we will determine which is going to be the best overall, the best design, most impact, or you are going to decide on the audience prize. Now, these prizes, let me elaborate a little bit on that. These prizes are not only these beautiful trophies, but these prizes also are cash prizes. I have a nice foam board here where we state that best overall, the team will get 1,000 euros in cash. The best design team will get 750 euros in cash, and the most impact team will get 750 in cash. And next to that, Miss Victoria Gago sponsored tickets to the European Blockchain Convention also. So the members of the 3 winning teams are getting tickets to attend this beautiful convention in December, which is virtually, but it has more than 200 speakers, for instance. So that's also a nice add-on to the prizes that we have. I think now is the time to tell the teams who were nominated and who weren't. And I get a list which I have never seen before, so I can see if that's if I can read that. Oh boy! So the first team that is nominated for the finals in the e-voting track is the team called Olden Noobs. That's the team from Oldenburg University. The second team that is nominated is team number 2 from the energy track, the green screen. Then team number 3 is nominated from the energy track, the Volt group. Then team number 4 is nominated in transport, the under steeping. I cannot read this. Is their name? Team number 4. Team number 7 is nominated from the energy track, which they have called themselves Not Found. Shouldn't this be 404 Not Found? Team number 14 from the voting track, the B voters, are nominated. Team 15 from the transport track, the team which call themselves the Blockchain Big Brain. Team 16, which is from the e-voting track, which they call VoteTech. Then the next team is from the transport track. They call themselves Greasy Monkey, and that's team number 18. Then from the documents track, the team calls themselves Titan X from Haagse Hogeschool, team 26. And also from the documents track, the team calls themselves Cypher, and they are team number 28. And the last but not least, from the energy track, the team calls themselves Indie Charge, and that's team 29. Now, these are 12 teams, but nearly 30 teams have been doing their best, working their proverbial ass off, and that's something which I don't take lightly. It's a lot of work. You have to focus, you're under time pressure, and you still have to perform. And I think that all the teams involved did a great job. I didn't have time to look at all the movies, but I will. They're on our gallery page already, and I will give that URL in a moment, so everybody can look at them. They were all good, but we can only nominate 12 of them. We will go into the finals, and we will present 3 blocks of 4 teams, and then the jury will decide who is going to be the winner. Is there anything I forgot? Not at the moment. Yes, I forgot something, because we have an after movie to show what happened yesterday and today. We got video editing guys which work at the speed of light. I cannot talk at the speed of light, but they work at the speed of light. So they already rendered a movie, what happened in the last 2 days up to now, so you can have an impression of how this all went along. Daar staat understanding. Kom op. Hou op. For best overall, most impact and best design. And this is where the magic's going to happen. 30 hours of work with 140 participants in a lot of countries all over Europe and the world.
The Bling project is a North Sea region project with 14 partners, all working on government solutions with the help of blockchain technology.
This is our motto: eat, sleep, hack, repeat, where sleep is a little bit crossed over, because you're not going to do a lot of that. Track number 1 is about energy, microgrids, when you want to sell your electricity to your neighbor and all stakeholders involved. Track number 2 is about transport, containers, truckers, harbor, freighters, and the whole ecosystem around it. Track number 3 is about e-voting. How do you make an election end-to-end verifiable, so you're sure that when you voted for Biden, your vote is not going to Mr. Trump? And the last track is about electronic documents and messages. How do I deliver them in a secure and verifiable way?
Hackers, are you ready? Start the clock and start hacking.
Goedemorgen iedereen, goedemorgen, bonjour. Everybody can use some creativity, including you.
Have you decided on a team name yet?
We thought just of the team name Not Found.
Not Found, 404.
We were thinking about the clueless chargers.
I wish you good luck and success.
Thank you very much.
To see how the people will use the token services and what they would propose beyond what they have.
In this segment, we are going to talk about real-life blockchain applications.
I'm here because of the economical effects, because the crypto coin will be spent at our local companies.
You are live on our stream at the moment.
For the act of putting something on the blockchain, on the ledger, you now have to validate 2 other transactions.
As I understand it, you are the person to talk to when it comes to Energy Web.
What Energy Web is all about is to decentralize the energy grid.
To To me, hacking is being creative, thinking out of the box, solving problems, maybe in ways that nobody expected.
The thing what you are seeing now is the place where all the containers are shipped and placed.
And I'll see you at the podium tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay, participants, are you ready? We're going to start the pub quiz. The winner of this pub quiz will receive a wild card for the finale. Team 29, congratulations.
4 is the winner of the bomb game. They will get a wild card. See you back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Good morning at day 2 of the hackathon, and I hope you're energized and refreshed because these are the prizes of the Blingathon you'll be able to win. Less than 7 hours to go even. What is your team name? Do I have, oh yeah, the blockchain big brain team.
Hello.
Good morning. Oh, you're up and running already. The atmosphere is already swinging.
We are making progress, but it is a little bit early in the morning to go full throttle.
We started making our actual prototype quite late yesterday, but we did make some progress.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Usually projects is something they scroll on the website or they read about, and now they have people really talking about the story.
The last 5 hours are ticking away. One of the things you have to deliver is a video, a pitch video. Drop them in my timeline. Well, hackathons are magical. Yeah. Like you said, they are bonding with each other, but also with the coaches.
This is the main hall.
Super.
And you can see that the students are working there.
You see, we're all chilling. We just got like the food delivered. They kept on coding all night. This is the bet of Dries from last night.
A presentation from Victoria Gago, who is joining us from Barcelona.
One of the main ideas is basically that we would all carry a digital wallet.
Yeah.
Very, very, very relevant. So exciting. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you and good luck to all the teams.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for, you've all been working for in the last 30 hours. So stop hacking and prepare for the finals. Well, you've seen only a fraction of what happened, a fraction of these 30 hours, but I still think that's a pretty nice impression. Like I said, there's been a lot going on, and we cannot show these 30 hours in a few minutes, but at least you have an impression. Now, I have a few things to explain before we start. First thing, what is Bling? Right, this is the Blingathon, and Bling stands for Blockchain in Government. The Bling project is an Interreg project of 6 North Sea region countries and 14 partners living in there. And Ms. Renske Stumpel is the project lead. She binds them all together and is the glue between all the projects. So Bling has a lot of pilot projects where blockchain is used in real-life public service pilots. And the blockchain hackathon we are today is a product of that Interreg project. Okay, my next. These are the 14 partners. That's Ho West University of Applied Sciences, the province of Drenthe, Antwerpen, Roeselare, University of Edinburgh, Central, Judicial Collection Agency in English, the City of Ghent, the Sestran Partnership in Scotland, Skåne in Sweden, University of Gothenburg, the Oldenburg University, the Municipality of Emmen, the Municipality of Groningen, and Aalborg University. For this hackathon, We also have a number of challenge partners. Track number 1 is the partner is their Energy Web. Track number 4 it's the Token Project and Funding Box. Track number 3, e-voting, is the city of Groningen responsible, and Aalborg University is responsible for the transport track, and Ho West partners together with Energy Web. So there are a lot of people, a lot of parties involved, and speaking about a lot of people, here you see some of them. These are the coaches and the challenge owners for the energy track, for the transport, for e-voting, for the electronic documents, and these are independent coaches, and this is not just the end. I said it at the beginning of this hackathon, I sometimes feel like Lewis Hamilton, not because I can drive so well, no, but because he is the pinnacle of it all. He is the tip of the iceberg we see, and there are 1,100 people behind him working in the garage. Well, I don't have 1,100 people working in my garage, but there are lots of people involved, these coaches and lots of other people, and you only see me. That's my fate, but remember, I would not be able to do this hackathon without them. This is the jury of this evening. We have 4 people in our jury. I'm starting not in alphabetical order, but I'm starting with Peter Verkoulen, José Manuel Barnizo Plaza, Nena Dokuzov, and Adnan Imeri. I will ask them to introduce themselves in a moment. These people are going to look at all the nice nominations, and they have the heavy task of deciding which is the best and which is maybe not the best. These are the challenge owners of the tracks. Track 1 is by Energy Web and Ho West University. Track 2 is by Aalborg University. Track 3 is Gemeente Groningen, the city of Groningen. And track 4 is the Token Project and Funding Box. Now, I'll present the rules for the judging. It's very simple. Every team has made a movie, and we're going to look at that movie in a moment. That movie is played, and in that time that the movie is played, we ask the team captain of that team to come to our main stage. Only that person, maybe 2 persons of that team, whatever they want, but not more. So we'll have here the jury, the 4 people from the jury, me and the team captain on the main stage. And when the movie is done, then the jury can ask some questions about the solution that the team built. Right? That they have about 3, max 4 minutes for these questions, right? And then we'll change to the next team. And we'll do that 4 times in a row. And then half an hour will be gone. We'll have a short break, 5 minutes, or 10, I don't know, we'll see. I believe 5 minutes. And then we'll do the same again. 4 teams, 2-minute movies. The captain will come to the main stage. We'll ask some questions, and so on. And then we have the 3rd block of 4. After the 3rd block of 4, I will go with the jury into jury deliberations, and they will decide. I will only help. I'll be the secretary and write down all the decisions. They will decide on best overall, best design, most impact, and you, in the meantime, the audience, will get a page where you can vote for the team you have as a favorite. You have 1 vote per person, right? It will be recorded. In the meantime that we are doing the jury deliberations, you can vote. And when we come back, I will present the prizes, the awards, and we will also give away the audience prize. Now, let me see if there is anything other on my list. I think we have it all. I will go to the jury and ask them to introduce themselves, and then we can start the judging process. I will go and put you on the screen like this, and we'll switch to Discord. We will switch to Discord. There is the Discord. Good evening, distinguished jury members. I'm happy to have you on board. I will ask you to introduce yourselves because there are a lot of people watching on YouTube that might not know you. And we'll start on my screen with left upper, Adnan Imeri. Would you please be so kind to introduce yourself? I'll put you on the big screen. Go ahead.
Good evening, and thank you very much, Adri, for this opportunity to introduce myself. So my name is Adnan Imeri. I'm a technical lead of InfraChain. Today I will judge and evaluate your projects. On my background, I am a PhD. I have a PhD in computer science, so I'm purely related to the research and implementation of activities related to the blockchain. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. I'll go to Jose Manuel Panizo. Jose, would you please introduce yourself?
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm thankful for inviting me as a jury member to this exciting event. I consider that in this context, it's a unique competition in Europe. I would like to congratulate you for organizing this in such a brilliant way. I would like also to congratulate the participants by the hard work done until now. I'm sure that competing in this event has been a fruitful and enriching activity for all you. Good luck in this competition, and I wish you all the best in the future and indeed brilliant projects. Let me present myself. I am Jose Manuel Panizo. I'm playing the role of being the convener of the European Self-Sovereign Identity Framework in EPSI, the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure and Initiative, together with my colleague Daniel Dusail. Currently, I'm working for the European Commission at DG Connect. I have a professional background of 12 years working for the Spanish public administration, leading projects of cybersecurity, EIDAS trust services, and blockchain technologies. I pass the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jose. And the next person, I'm going to switch to Nena. Good evening.
Yes, hello, good evening, and I'm also very happy that you invited me here. What I hear is very exciting, and I'm hardly waiting to hear all the teams and to see what innovative ideas we will have in place tonight. I'm actually I'm a responsible person for blockchain technology at the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology in Slovenia, but I'm also a member of European Blockchain Partnership. And like Jose said, yeah, we are developing European blockchain services infrastructure and also the use cases. One is self-sovereign identity, the other is diplomas on blockchain, the third is traceability. We have 3 additional ones and a lot of interesting programs to be for the projects to be financed. So I hope that some of the projects that we will have tonight will be shown, and also a matter of financing from the European funding. Thank you very much.
That would be very, very nice. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Peter Verkoulen, the Dutchman in the whole team. I'm going to try to switch him to the mainstream, but he has a little bit of problem with his camera, I believe. Peter, what's...
Yeah, I see myself on the Discord, but...
Oh, I don't see you. That's strange. I'll switch back and forth. I'll switch to Adnan, and then we're back to you. Let's see what happens. So I'll switch to Adnan, and I'll switch back to you. Maybe he puts it on then. No, he does not. Do you have to give a permission or something? I can do something different. I'll just do it like that and see what happens. I can hear you, but I cannot see you. Peter, can you please start, and we'll see if your picture comes up. Otherwise, I will put a nice picture up. There you are. Peter, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, My name is Peter Verkoelen. I'm the coalition manager of the Dutch Blockchain Coalition. That's a 55 plus organizations, triple helix ecosystem in the Netherlands, working on blockchain developments for societal good. We work also very intensively together with the Bling project, but also with other regional or let's say specific topic oriented initiatives. And of course, also I'm very happy to be here and to hear and to look at all the results of the hard work that everybody has been doing over the past 48 hours. So let's get it on.
Great, thank you very much. I'm truly very honored that you have made time in your schedule to help us with the judging of this work that all the teams have done. I'm going to give the list one more time. In the order that we are going to pitch them. We are going to start with the energy track. Teams 3, 7 and 2 have to make themselves ready. We're going to start with team 3 in a moment. My technician will go and find the track number 1 energy and team 3. And after that, team 7 will be on. And team 2 will be on, and then from track 2, team 4 will be on, and then we'll have a short break. Team 15 will be on, team 1, 14 and 16 will be on, then we'll have a break. Then we'll have team 26 and 28, and team 18 and 29, and then we'll go into jury deliberation. Okay, I think I have explained everything there is to explain. I'm looking on my screen. If I missed something, I have somebody showing me things so I don't forget everything. But let's just do this. So we're going to show the first team movie, which is from the energy track, track number 1. And this is from team 3. Would please the captain of team 3 come to the main stage in the meantime so we can ask some questions. Please start the movie.
Hello, I'm Bo from the Default team, and today I'll be showing you Default Core, decentralizing energy one household at a time. When using electricity today, there are still a lot of issues. If you're producing or using, the grid is inefficient. All suppliers are centralized, so the grid fails without them, and investing in reusable energy is expensive and you don't get any return from it financially. So why not solve this problem by providing a form of energy storage for users per household that reduces their energy bill with all the possibilities made possible by blockchain? Then I would say, welcome to Default, where we decentralize the energy network one household at a time. Me, Jules, Stefan and Leonard are the fine men who have worked on this project for the past 2 days. We wanted to tackle this problem because the energy grid of today has problems. It is inefficient, centralized, expensive, and is powered mainly by fossil fuels. So let's do this in a bottom-up approach. By combining buildings into energy communities and hooking them up to batteries, they can provide electricity for themselves. Of course, we made some beautiful designs in order to give you a better idea of our application, and you can access them with the QR code on your screen. Our system works by first connecting a household to a battery that is located within or near their homes. After that, the house starts generating clean energy with solar panels. After that, you can store and use this energy efficiently, and best of all, you can reduce your bill up to 50%. But we're not pulling this from thin air. Thanks to Gilles, we've made an architectural simulation of an apartment complex and calculated the returns you would get. The results? After taxes, your bill should be reduced by 50%. But we do not fight this fight alone. Thanks to EasyBet, a battery registration and statistics tool built upon Energy Web, we can work together with multiple parties within the electrical industry, all thanks to blockchain. Of course, we do want to grow as a company. In order to fund our company, we have established 2 revenue streams, one based on licenses and one based on transaction fees. So why are you waiting? Join the revolution with the QR links below.
Join the revolution. That's a call to action, if you haven't heard one. Okay, I'm waiting for the team captain of team number 3 to come to the main stage to be able to ask him some questions. So will please the team captain of the Volt group go to the main stage so we can talk to him. Well, you saw the movie. Yeah? They made a nice presentation. They already are talking about a startup even and financing. These guys are really stepping on the gas, the electricity, I meant to say. So I hope that is the captain of the team. Would you please open the camera? Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Welcome on the main stage. You've seen the jury. I'm going to ask the jury, do you have any questions?
Sorry, I didn't really understand you. There's a lot of back noise.
Yeah, please tell them to be a little bit more silent if you can. Adnan, Jose, Peter, Nena, do you have any questions about this movie, about the idea they have? Nena.
Maybe I ask a question. We have a lot of that kind of energy projects here, and by what element makes a differentiation of your project comparing the others? Okay, we heard that you have 50% less energy spent, but from the numbers that we saw, it is not explicitly clear from which segment of the whole that chain you are saving the money.
Well, we're looking at the fact that energy, so the energy that we actually store within the batteries. So if you're looking at the digital system, where you actually get energy from your solar panels, it goes back to your main net. You cannot store it; it goes lost actually to the net. And our idea was that, well, let's put a buffer between the net and the actual generating source, mainly the battery, and let's store it there. So what we did, we have someone in our team who does architecture, and he calculated how much the solar panels would produce and how much the family would consume. So our estimates were that a general household family actually produces 10 kilowatt hour per day, while solar panels actually produce 7.5 kilowatt hours. In our simulation, we assumed that there were 4 apartments, so 4 flats, and 1 loft. We assumed that all of these produce 10 consume 10 kilowatts each, and the solar panel array that we put on the roof of it would actually produce 7.5 kilowatt hours. So we could actually say that like 75% of your bill is reduced, but then we decided to also calculate in budget taxes to look if it's really that possible. And after that, we came out that, well, it's going to be about 25% that you're going to lose when it comes to the price when you pay the taxes, and that's how we got to like the 50% checkpoint. But of course, it's calculated in optimal conditions in a sense. So it could be, for example, that if there's bad weather, that it's reduced, but there's still a benefit to it because you are still disconnecting from the main net. Not really disconnecting from the main net, but you're making sure that you actually are using a separate source first, and you're using renewable energy instead of depending on actual fossil fuels.
Yeah. So you are taking less energy from the net, right, and decreasing the load from the net, and that's also worth something.
Yes, that's totally correct. So what we're actually trying to do is that instead of doing a drastic change, like we're going just straight for solar panel of clean energy, etc., that's not just realistic. That's not possible. If you're trying to suddenly put everyone on green energy, the net is not going to hold. For example, in Belgium, we're looking at the fact that there are some proposals when it comes to electric cars that they want to change in 2025. They want to make all the electric cars. The net wouldn't hold. It's not a realistic proposal. So we would decide to really take a realistic approach to actually our proposal, because we want to see this actually happen. So we decided to actually work in gradual steps. We say, well, let's first try to make the actual energy network decentralized by making sure that the batteries are placed in every home or near home, so that we have a more robust system that, for example, if a battery fails, then it isn't really a problem. Compared, for example, when a power plant fails. When a power plant fails, then there's suddenly a lot of loss of energy production. So if we make more of those batteries and we get more people on board, the network almost gets robuster and robuster. So in a sense, while it's not really a blockchain network in the actual technology terms, it is a very robust network that really bases itself on the decentralization of the energy sources and make sure that it actually is robust.
Yeah, I
Question,
understand.
even if it is not on a blockchain, so I have a question. Have you ever measured the environmental impact on this kind of decentralization of the sources of energy?
So we have to assume that in the most ideal situation that all the energy generated from the houses is with solar panels or with renewable energy. Now, we could make the argument that yes, there is a certain environmental impact by producing this many solar panels, etc. But in the long run, we do think that this is the most ecological friendly solution in a sense. Now, when it comes to the actual production to the batteries, I know there's a couple of research that says that the production of batteries will have a certain ecological impact. We're looking at it. But I do think that using batteries in the long run, especially when it comes to our environment, is a lot more beneficial than keeping our current track with all the fossil fuels. Because while it's true that batteries can have a certain environmental impact because they can be quite polluting to produce, it will be in the long run a lot more less polluting. It will actually just because there's there's one time a carbon cost that we actually pay, but after that we don't really keep continuing to produce carbon because we actually use solar energy and also renewable sources to fill our battery. We don't use the main net, we don't use fossil fuels. And that's also something that was really important on our project, mainly that how can we make sure that we gradually introduce clean energy to our consumers or our users without disrupting the whole life? Because again, as I said, if we need to put our users directly on clean energy, which is, you've probably seen in another pictures, about 25% of the world production, that wouldn't work. So it needs to be a gradual system that allows them to adapt over time, otherwise it will not work.
Yeah. Okay. I understand, and the impact of the batteries is only once, right? A battery goes a very long way. Okay.
That's very correct. The battery goes a long way. It will stay there for a long time. It's not that we're going to replace it like every 2 years, like for example your cell phone that you normally do. No, we're really planning on these batteries to stay a long way. And even after that, we are planning to actually also make central locations of batteries that are beneficial to a community. For example, that if there isn't a possibility to put a battery in your home, for example, your electrical grid within your home is too old, it cannot handle the load of actually filling in a battery, then we could provide as company a central battery service station, as we call it, and then you could redirect your energy to there. It's stored there, and then with the blockchain, we can actually check that how much energy you actually give out to the network, and then pull it back to the battery. And then if you need more energy, then it goes back to your actual house. So it's really designed to be a really flexible system because we know that a lot of living situations are different, especially when it comes to the housing construction and how they're built. A lot of homes are also a little bit older when it comes to their electrical grid. So the most important part when it came to this actual project is that it is flexible.
Okay.
It doesn't. Sorry.
I think you're able to talk about this for hours, and I've got a few other teams I have to give the time to show their pitch. Thank you very much. I think we heard enough, and we saw your beautiful pitch movie. My compliments for
Thank you
that.
very much.
We're going to go to the next team. So I'm going to give my technician, this is track 1 energy, team number 7, and then we'll do team number 2. Please start the movie of team number 7.
And we will be presenting what we have been doing for the last 30 hours. To give you some context, a lot of firms are trying to produce their own green energy by using solar panels or wind turbines or any other renewable source. Renewable energy sources are actually about 26% of the world's electricity today. But our mission is to make all energy come from sustainable sources. When a firm provides their own energy, they might become in possession of an excess amount. Normally they would put this on the main grid, but perhaps they rather give it to their employees. But energy is not tangible.
That's where we come in. We want to tokenize the excess amount of energy that company is producing. We'll do this in such a way that every party involved will have their advantages. For the company, this would be that they could store these tokens and use them at a later date. Or they could give them as benefits to their employees and in that way pay less taxes. But why should I, as an employee, accept these tokens? Well, I could use them to pay my electricity bill partially. Or I could store them or trade them and exchange the tokens for real money.
Our third stakeholder is the energy supplier. This party mints the tokens and gives them to the companies. They will also receive these tokens from an employee or a company. To make sure we can get all the energy suppliers on board, we ensure that they have some benefit. Instead of investing in green energy themselves, they can get their energy from all the joining companies. To process this energy, they have some associated costs, like transportation, taxes, and other regulatory costs. We depict that 20% of the value of that energy that's injected will be withheld for associated costs. We hope to get all energy suppliers to accept these tokens. The usage of the blockchain would be beneficial because the transactions will be logged in an audit trail. This ensures that no trickery can be made with the transactions. Data saved on the blockchain will be the injection of companies' energy and the given tokens in return, but also the tapping of energy by either the company or the employee in return for tokens. The accountancy of the tokens will be on a blockchain network. Tokens are interchangeable, which means they can be sold between people.
To make our concept a bit clearer, we'd like to provide an example. In this example, one token equals 1 kilowatt hour for easy purposes. Disclaimer, we are not acquainted with the energy system, so our numbers might not be realistic. So in our example, our company, let's call it Intertech, works fully on renewable energy and has provided 250 kilowatt hour a day. But it only needs 200 kilowatt hour. So Intertech can inject 50 kilowatt hour to the main energy grid. For this transaction, Intertech will receive 40 tokens from their energy provider. They could decide to keep those tokens or divide them between their employees. The employees store their tokens in a crypto wallet on the blockchain. When the employee gets their energy bill, they could decide to pay partially with their tokens or to hold on to them, to use them on a later date. This is how we imagine a real-life use case.
So, to conclude, we'll be using tokens to make energy tangible. Companies can use these tokens to give to employees as benefits. Employees can use this to get green electricity or sell them to other people. This was our presentation. I hope you enjoyed, and a goodbye.
Normally, this would lead to disqualification, but I will let this slide. But please, next time, adhere to the rules. I see the team captain. I love Maymays. In the jury channel, please switch on your camera. We don't have too much time for questions, but does someone of the jury have a question for this team?
Hello. I don't know if the camera is working.
Not yet.
It doesn't appear on my screen, but
Slowly.
yes, showing a loading symbol.
Yeah, on our screen also. Does someone from the jury have a question for this team?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, regarding the scalability of your project, in order to scale, have you identified the different partners that you need? And in this case, it will be a public or private cooperation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we need a few strategic partners, so to say. We need companies who produce their own green energy and have enough of it, as well as companies who provide electricity to the grid to give the tokens to the private companies. So yeah, scalability might be difficult to get every partner on board, so to say. I do think that's one of our biggest hiccups we might encounter.
What about governance? How do you govern this project? Who is the owner?
I don't think there will be one owner, but it's more like a board of representatives of the major electrical companies and the biggest suppliers of electricity to the grid, that they govern the project, so to say.
So in this case, it's a private blockchain kind of. Can I join your network and produce some energy and receive some tokens?
Yeah, if you produce energy, you can join our network. Yeah.
Okay. I think we have enough information. You had a very long video, so thank you for your presentation. And we are going to the next team, which is team number 2, which name is the green screen. Please start the video of team number 2.
Our solution, our group name was Green Screen Corner, and we developed a solution for the energy problem. So, to give an easy explanation, we thought about different neighborhoods that had prosumers, consumers, and investors. Prosumers could all pump their electricity into different pools, and when a pool had energy, it had to be stored somewhere. So we thought about different investors and prosumers as well that had home batteries at their home, and then we would give them a small percentage to use their battery as storage, of pool storage. So when consumers or prosumers needed energy, they could simply ask their pool for energy and then pull it out. Then when they used an investor's battery, the investors would get a small percentage as a reward. And then that way home batteries could become cheaper and the world would be a better place. Now, when a neighborhood's pool doesn't have enough energy to provide for its neighborhood, it could look in different pools around it to lend some money from those pools. Now, when all the pools in a certain area don't have any energy, the main producer, for example, Fluvius in Belgium, could step in to provide different storage abilities for different pools or add extra current into the energy web net. Now, we also developed a smart contract for this. To be more specific, We actually created a smart contract that has a pool, and you can, as a user, you can actually put energy into that pool and also pull it out, and then of course pay for it. Now, speaking of this payment, we developed a coin, the green screen corner coin, that is used for the different transactions in our smart contracts. Then we also thought about an AI that monitors the price. And for example, in the winter, when different green energy sources are cheaper, or for example, the energy in another country is cheaper, it takes that energy and floods it into the pools. That was our
Great. Nice movie, very well explained. Let's see if we can get the team captain of this team on board. I see someone. Please switch on your camera. Can you hear us? We cannot hear you because your microphone is off. Is muted. You are muted. There's a small red thing through your microphone.
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but we
Yes,
cannot hear you because there's still a mute button somewhere. Left bottom corner, there is probably you muted the microphone. Oh, disconnected and reconnect, but yet your microphone is still off. I see, maybe I can help you. Let's try like this.
We can hear you.
Yes, okay.
I can hear you.
So someone can hear me, but not everyone.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, it's strange. It was, I don't know. So, hi everyone.
Hello. Does anyone from the jury have a question about this presentation? Nina.
Yes.
Me. Yeah, congratulations for the video. It was very well presented.
Thank you.
It was not very clear what problem do you are you solving or do you want to solve? What is the challenge you are addressing through this? The concrete challenge. Okay, you have communities, you have prosumers, you have consumers, you have investors, everybody. But what exactly is the challenge? The lack of energy, electricity, or what is the challenge here?
Well, one of the challenges was, the battery, because they are really expensive. But if you can buy a battery and you can use it as a, you can use it for yourself, like 20%, and you can the rest of the battery, the rest of the wall can use it, so they can store energy on it. Because you don't use everything, it is expensive. But if they use it, if they pay you something, it gets more cheaper, and yes, that's one of the problems we are trying to solve.
Thank you.
Someone else?
What happens if the price of batteries goes to decrease? What's happened with your business case? Have you thought?
Well, I think there will be just like more batteries, and there will be more energy that can be stocked in the batteries, like for the winter or for the nights. So I don't see a problem.
No. I mean, in your business case, if the batteries decrease, do you have like why then I should use your solution?
Because it will, how to say it? It will. So it's not just because of the batteries are not just the only problem. It's also the energy that they are saving. So if the
no. Why you're using blockchain in your solution? This is my question.
Maybe one of your team members can help you.
I know why you are using, because you are using pools, and then you can distribute the rewards in a distributed manner. So that's so I know, but I wanted to hear from you, which you don't have this concept in mind already. You should work a little bit on business plan and to see how you can benefit from your solution, because you are not just.
Our first idea was with a neighbor, so you can share your energy with a neighbor if, like, you have a lot of energy and your neighbor doesn't have energy, so he can use it. So that's why we thought about blockchain, so it happens faster and without less cost, of course.
Okay.
And in that case, what kind of blockchain you would use?
I think everyone has to sign in, so I think it's a private.
Okay.
Did you use Energy Web for this solution, or did you use another blockchain?
We used Energy Web, yes.
Okay.
We made a smart contract on the Volta Energy Web.
Okay.
On the testnet.
Okay. I think that is one of the questions answered. Okay. Well,
Okay, one
Jose,
final
more
question.
Yes?
Yes, regarding the exploitation plan, the profit for the customers will be enough to consider that they will pay the batteries, or do you think that they will need public funding?
We didn't think about this, but well, our idea was that some of them have battery, but some of them have solar panels. So
you'll have to think about that a little bit more.
Yes, yeah, I think so, yes.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're going to go to the next team. So we're going to start the movie of the transport track team number 4, and then we'll have that last movie in this half-hour block.
It's Christmas. You ordered some nice presents for your children, but come December 25th, they never arrived. Your worst nightmare. This is what happens to 40 to 60 trailers at Port N every year due to human error or malicious intent. Hello, my name is Daniel from Understanding, and we present you our solution to trailers gone missing. Currently, when truckers enter the harbor gate, they have to go through copious amounts of paperwork to even get in, only to be met by a maze-like trailer park where they have to meticulously find their trailer. This causes errors and waiting time at the gate. Our solution looks like this. With the use of cameras in combination with computer vision, the trucks and trailers' license plates are scanned on arrival and exit, together with the trailer's unique identification plate. If those aren't readable, they get an automatic cleaning service with a pressured water cleaner. The shipping documents state which specific trailers the trucker is allowed to pick up, creating an entry pass to the port in combination with the truck's license plate. If the trucker attempts to leave the port with a trailer not designated to them in their shipping documents, the road barriers won't open. In case the trucker has to drop off a trailer, they'll be doing so at the drop-off area. After this, the port employees will make sure to place the trailer at the designated grid position. This position will be registered on the blockchain in combination with the trailer's unique identification. Successful pickups and drop-offs will be registered on the blockchain by combining the truck's license plate with the trailer's unique ID. This will make the process more streamlined and near invulnerable to information errors. So next year's presents can be on time.
Okay. Presented in exactly 2 minutes. Thank you very much, with a lot of humor. Okay. Would you please switch on your camera, Frank? And I don't know if any of the jury members have any questions about your solution.
Good evening.
Good evening. Jury members, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much. Regarding the reading operation of the QR codes, how are you going to do this task?
What's the question?
How are the QR codes are going to be read?
At the entrance, there will be a scanner for the QR codes, so the truckers can just scan the QR codes and drive into the port.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about scalability? How many transactions you have counted from the truck center to the place to take the parcel to the departure point? Have you counted the transaction? How many transactions you need for a minute, second?
Well, there are over 60,000 containers every year, so that's about 1,000 transactions every week. Due to the fact that there are 1,000 transactions and containers coming in and out of the port every week.
Okay, so you
For
designed it
one
for
container, how many transactions you need?
Oh, for one container, it will be 3 transactions for coming in, picking it up, and moving out of the port.
All right.
Okay. Great. Any other questions?
Yes, one question regarding the problem that your solution is going to solve. Do you know any magnitude about how many, we can say, how many trailers are lost or why is required your solution?
Every year there are about 50 trailers being lost. You saw in our video that when you're ordering something, it's very disappointing when it isn't arriving. So to solve this problem, to reduce those numbers from 50 to maybe 1 a year or even 0, we wanted to implement this ID to the port as a locally solved problem. So there are no containers being stolen or being misidentified and being left by the port.
According to you, you are just having the access of the containers when it is to the port, but you don't know where the containers come from, and you don't have the traceability from the departing point of the containers up to the destination. For you, destination is port, first one, and then you pick up. You just can you can perform traceability only from port. Is that true?
Yes, it's the problem is getting solved locally, so we don't need to have the information for all the containers that are coming in, because the containers will get registered once they're in.
So they're solving a piece of the puzzle in the harbor, and you're right. You could do lots of other supply chain things next to that, but they're only solving this problem. Okay.
Maybe one of my teammates want to add something to. No, that's what it's all about.
Okay. So it's last mile logistics. So.
What did you say?
I said last mile logistics. It's what you are solving.
Yeah, we are solving the logistics about the fact that there are truck drivers who grab by the wrong container by mistake. So that's the only problem we wanted to solve. Okay. And by creating the identification numbers on a container and with a truck driver, there is no way that a truck driver will leave with the wrong container.
Why you need blockchain though?
Blockchain is due to the fact that the port can see which driver took which container. So you can always see which containers have been picked up at what time and when they arrived at what time and left the port at what time.
But that you can do with the centralized database.
That's also true, but it's immutable with using blockchain.
All right.
And one final question, which is the added value of your solution? Do you think there are other similar solutions in the market? And why your solution is unique, we can say?
What is the question?
Yes, do you think that your solution is unique comparing to other solutions that can be in the market?
Or probably might not be unique, but it is a low cost and it's a problem solving to being locally instead of changing the whole transport industry for having extra control measurements within the port.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you for your movie and your explanation. This is team number 4 in the row, in the sequence. So we are going to have a 5-minute break before we go to the next half hour where we do another 4 teams.
Bye-bye.
And we're back after the break. So we're going to do the next set of 4 teams. And we will start with the movie from track number 2, team 15.
Are you there?
Okay, this was the video of the second video of the transport track, which was presented by team Blockchain Big Brain. And let's see, I'm waiting for I don't have my jury members on the screen. So I hope they haven't left me. Ah, there. Peter is here. Have no fear, Peter is here. And Jose, I had a little bit anxiety that you had left me alone, and all my fears have gone away now. Have you seen the pitch of this team, and do you have any questions? And I think PS Philippos is in our midst. Please switch on your camera so we can see you. We even have 2 ones. Vince is also there. Okay, hello Vince, please switch on your camera and we'll get a question from the jury.
Hello, I'm sorry, my camera isn't working properly today.
Okay.
I have a question. The movie it mentioned the immutability, that is very important, but why is it important in your vision? Because who would like to change this information that you want to protect in this way?
So in our system, the important information has to do with the events of containers being checked in or out of a port. And the immutability means that no one can, let's say, check a container back in that's already been checked out or something along those lines, or someone trying to change who has checked a container in or out or when.
Okay. So maybe I can translate that a little bit for you. So it has to do with who is responsible for the information and nobody can manipulate it. Is that what you mean?
Yes, and because we rely on tracking the events of containers throughout the port in the transport assignment, we need to ensure that no events can be changed after they have occurred.
Okay.
And what exactly is the solution? What brings as a benefit for the businesses, for the community, for the society? What is the important?
The important part of the solution is the other aspect of blockchain being transparency. Is that anyone that's in the system can see who has checked a container in or out or when, like I said before. And that means that a container cannot as easily be stolen or misplaced inside of a port because you can see who checked it out and when, or moved it around inside the port. Or if a customs does an X-ray scan on a port instead of for customs reasons, let's say, the information will be available as to where the container is, who scanned it, and when. And this benefits both the client who owns the container they're shipping through the world, and also local authorities, port authorities, insurance companies, things like that.
So you have also you have thought for the third parties involvement, like insurance companies. They want to know exactly who was the person to check out the port. That this is a important information for you for the solution you're providing.
Yes, because ideally, our solution will track the entire supply chain of a container. So yes, a third party like an insurance company could see when a certain container was moved from the ship to the loading bay, and then from the loading bay when it was picked up by a driver of a truck, and when it left the port, things like that.
Okay, I have one question, Filipos. What will happen in an offline scenario? For example, if the drivers can connect to the network to upload some information?
In that scenario, the fallback would be to result to use the paperwork that was used originally, like up to now. I mean, without a blockchain system, as of now, you would manually have to have loading bills and things like that would indicate who is responsible for taking a container in and out of the port, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Why specifically with the blockchain beside the immutability as the important aspect you have mentioned? What else you would bring with the using of this kind of technology?
So the blockchain goes hand in hand with devices such as cameras inside of trucks, which you can see in the video. And these would be IoT devices, so they would automatically upload information to the blockchain when certain containers are scanned in their parking spots or from trucks or cranes. So the whole system would be automated. People would not have to go around scanning containers, let's say, when they're moving them around the port or doing procedure with them. The devices, such as the cameras or other IoT devices, would automatically add the data to the blockchain, then it would be available for everyone to see.
Okay. Do you have a last question, Adnan?
Yeah, I mean, just have they thought about feasibility with how they could realize the solution with kind of blockchain or just initial? Because I know that in 30 hours it's impossible, but have you put already hands on this kind of solution?
So for the duration of these 30 hours, we focused more on the software and the blockchain side of things, and we have mocked up some smart contracts in Ethereum for this. And the base logic is implemented and seems to be generally feasible. This does not mean that it would necessarily be entirely feasible with the entire proposed solution, but as of now, there has been some thought into the actual application development of this in the actual blockchain and with actual IoT devices.
One advice from my side, keep in mind that in IoT you can receive 1,000 transactions in let's say even a minute. If you have a huge port, you have always to keep in mind the scalability of any solution you intend to provide.
Yes, and in that scenario, we would also look forward to implementing second layer Ethereum-based solutions to increase the transaction bandwidth, basically.
Then it's
okay.
Enough from my side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we are going to go to the next team. And
okay,
the next team is from the e-voting track, team number 1. So please start their pitch.
We are the team All Noobs, and our mission is to create online elections that are secure, transparent, and verifiable. First, in our app, you have to register and authenticate yourself. This is done via your electric ID card or your biometrics at the office. There you can then scan a QR code, which gives you access to the actual voting. On the voting page, you can then choose your party and also gather information about your party, what they stand for, and what they want to do. Behind the app is structured with data streams. We have one channel for the whole country, and on this channel there are different branches for the different voting districts, and on the voting district branch there are separate branches for each voter. With this system, which includes offline and online voting, we enable the freedom to vote. So if you're maybe forced to vote for a specific party, you can always go to the voting center or the office and say you want to vote again. And the offline vote counts more as the online vote. So only the offline vote will be counted in the end. And this gives you also the possibility to change the vote, and you have the possibility to lock your screen. The voting secrecy is enabled by the identity not being connected to the vote. Only thing saved on the phone is the link to the message, but not the actual party you voted for. Also, because you can change the vote, you can't prove that you actually voted for the specific party. Its transparency is enabled by resembling the real-life structure of voting districts with Yotta streams. Also, the counting can be verified by giving access to the entire channel to independent institutions after the voting process is done. And every voter can check if his or her vote actually took place and is on Yotta stream structure. The integrity is enabled by the hash function Yotta streams, and the counting is done offline on a snapshot of the Yotta Tango. And the eligibility is done through the passport or the electronic ID card. The unicity is enabled by counting only the last vote and preferring offline over the online vote. And lastly, the accessibility is also enabled by this hybrid system, so that people without a phone can also vote in the voting center.
Okay. Thank you very much for this very nice presentation. Please, team captain from team number 1, all the noobs, come to the main stage. This team lost one of their team members. He had to go to hospital, so and had something done to his hand. So they lost one soldier, but here are 2 team members to answer any questions you have. Hello. Good evening. Kjati, I cannot hear you. Your microphone is somehow not connected or something.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Distinguished jury members, do you have any questions?
I have a question. Actually, I have a couple of questions. First, okay, you are mentioning freedom to vote. So your problem is, which you are solving, is that the voters are not quite free in their expression of wills, or is there any other challenge to be addressed? Second is, what is your business case? How do you show the viability of the business case? The third thing is, if you use blockchain, okay, you have a possibility to change the vote. How the process is going, because under which conditions do you change the vote? You know that for the because of the immutability, your voting is written and represents the block. And what are the conditions under which you are changing the vote? Do you have an agent or some influencer or some intermediary that can contribute to your change of the vote? It was not very clear. Why? Yeah, and what is identity for if you are not connecting this to the vote?
That is quite something to answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, the freedom to vote is meaning that you could be influenced or forced to vote for a party you don't want to vote for. So you can then go to the voting center and override your e-vote. Then the second question I did not quite understand. Could you please repeat it?
I think the business case, what she meant was, so this is, we have taken the case in how the voting is done in Germany. So considering that we would collaborate with the German government and create a app for them, which could also be verified by centrally by the general public. So Hendrik, you can take it forward. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the third question, which condition is there to change? So we need, as I said, to go to the voting center and say that we want to vote again in person this time, and then you can show your ID card and you can use the computer in the voting center to vote again via this client. And then on the blockchain, there's a new message attached to the old message, and only the latest message will always be counted in the end. And then the last question.
What circumstances that might happen? Who would change the vote? In this situation, you might go to change the vote.
Maybe
is
if
that
some...
is that the normal situation?
No.
It happen any time?
No, it's maybe edge cases. Maybe you were, as I said, forced to vote for another party. You were watched by someone, or
your mobile was stolen. In case
yeah.
you scan the QR code, you got the app and you want to make the decision later on. But if you have not put a lock on your mobile is stolen. Or in case if you by mistake, app for a lot of different generation of people, they just click around and they might just, vote. And then they would get a notification that you have until this date to change your vote. But for that, you have to physically go with your voter's ID and change it. So there are many, when a new system is made, there are a lot of possibilities of error, and specifically considering that the people of every generation is taking part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, or if there is more?
Yeah, that sounds for my question.
Yeah. So it's for usability purpose.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the impact of your case? Only the freedom to vote and the value of people after that they are feeling valuable because they can contribute to the change or something like this, or what is the impact on society? Because it's very strange. You are not using any incentives. You are not using anything to motivate. So this is why I asked also for the business case. But okay.
Yeah, okay. In that case, if you consider, generally a lot of democracies where a lot of people do not participate because of lack of accessibility and they are not able to commute, then they have the voters card, or there are, even in a very big economy like India, there are voter card which can be scanned and you can identify yourself, and there is also like a thumbprint. So along with the voters card, there is also a biometric scanning which can be used. So combining this both, you can verify yourself and use e-voting. And in case if the centers are not somewhere very close to your town, then there will be some places which can conduct this voting sessions for people, and they can help them with their mobile. I think there is a possibility that this can be done, and considering that in different democracies there are different challenges, I think with this possibility of scanning your voter's ID and your biometric is a good option to make sure that more people participates in the democratic process.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
I have one question.
Okay.
We know that privacy and secrecy are key properties for a voting system. And one of the main problems in the voting system is the possibility that the authentication module, we can say, we can link which is the vote from every citizen if we link the order in the authentication model and comparing to the voting process. Have you thought about this? Have you thought any solution to avoid the linkability between the authentication module and the voting operation?
I think this is technical, so I will. Hendrik, do you?
Yeah, no, not really. So for authentication, as you said, we either use the electronic identification card or the normal identification card, and then the voting process is not really linked to the authentication.
So once you are authenticated using that, I think your node or whatever is formed on the blockchain, right? So somehow that's how you can still not link it to your authentication, and it can be anonymous.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and for your nice presentation. We are going to the next team from the voting track, which is team 14, the B voters. Please start their presentation.
E-voting is the future, and that is why. To organize last Netherlands election, it took like 25 million euros for the government to do it. Meanwhile, those money could have been spent on other things that mattered, like development of hospitals, raising the salaries, providing good medical care for people nowadays. Speaking of sustainability, 2,781 trees were cut down to organize the national election in the Netherlands. This number is huge. People have to understand the impact it makes on our planet. Nowadays, to give a vote, a person should go to a certain place outside his home, which could potentially make him infected by coronavirus. But what if the person was able to give his vote at home? Then it would make his life much easier as well as safer. That is why me and my teammates think that it would be very essential for the people to have e-voting applications based on the blockchain technology, which could solve previously described problems. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the B-Voter.
Welcome to the B-Voter. Here you can log in using your DigiID. It's made it safer for you to log in. As you can see, the system already recognizes you. Following the blockchain technology, we make it possible to avoid bias, keep transparency, and ensuring each vote is counted. Below there is a little tutorial that will help you to understand how to vote correctly and why it's safe to do from the app. In the upcoming elections, to avoid any hacks at our system, we will use Ethereum blockchain because of its proof of work mechanism as well as the large number of nodes that will increase the security of the app. You can see here the programs of the candidates. You can click here to read more about them. Choose a candidate, you just click the box and click vote. When your vote has been submitted, we care about the safety of our customers, and that is why we provide the 4 hours time slot in case you were threatened and you want to change your vote. You can also report about the threatening by clicking this button and calling this number. We have the FAQ page where you can find any further information that you need. In case you have any more questions, you can call this number as well. This is B-Voter, the future of e-voting.
The future of e-voting. Yes, okay. Thank you for the nice presentation. I see 2 people from B-Voting present. Good evening. Would you switch on your microphone so we can hear you? That might... Yes, thank you very much.
Good evening.
Does one of my jury members have a question about this voting system?
I have one question regarding the registration phase. I have seen that you need a previous registration after voting. So this registration is built upon the national ID system, or how are we going to do this process? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Basically, the idea is that whenever the user will log in the system, he will need to actually provide his ID from the app DigiID, which is Dutch app, and it's obligatory for every Dutch person to have this for the confirmation of his ID. So he will actually, the person will provide his unique ID from this app in our application, and then the system will connect to the DigiID, allowing the user, if this ID that he actually entered exists, then he will actually enter our system.
And I feel the next question coming from Jose. How do you disconnect the ID from the actual voting, correct?
Okay, so basically the idea is that, I think the question is like, if it's like possible to actually, for the person to vote twice, right? Like,
yeah, that's one part. The other part is also, if you're not being allowed to vote twice, that would be great, but how do I look after it that you cannot be identified? Through DGID after voting. And they're gone. Did I scare them away?
No, I think you asked the right question because that was my next question.
And they are coming back. I see
It's
reconnecting. And they're switching on. Are you back? Can you hear us? Gentlemen? Hello, hello. Maurice is entering.
Hello.
Hello, Maurice. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, I have an answer on that question. Every account is getting a pub. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I was answering the question.
Every account gets.
Can you hear me?
Now I
can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
us?
Yes.
Sorry, we have disconnected. Yeah, for Discord issue.
Okay. Well, so the question was, how do you prevent people being connected to their vote, right? Because if you use DigiID and you prevent them voting twice, you have to register somewhere who voted and who didn't. Now, how do you are going to prevent that people can be identified by that token?
Well, so basically, like DigiID is like a third party which disconnects the voter and the organization. Public keys and private keys can be used there.
Okay.
That's a question of privacy. So I can identify one transaction. If somebody is, let's say, posing a transaction in Ethereum, I can have the hash of transaction and I can trace back the IP address. And still I can identify that person. There is a research which have proved that even from Bitcoin I can do that. So how do you solve the issue of privacy?
So basically, we have like two solutions for that. The first solution is about like using the private smart contracts that we can actually use by using the blockchain, which has the name of a secret network. That's the blockchain that is very special of its allowing their users to be private, so that the information that is not needed to be visible, public for everyone, will not be actually visible. But also, we think that sorry, just. Yeah, I think basically that's the solution that we have for that. Just using the private smart contracts that can allow to have user this privacy.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Last question.
So one question: Will the user have an account in the Ethereum blockchain? So will they have a public and private keys, an account?
Yes, that's the idea. That the user will have its own public key, and well, to this public key, his ID from application DigiID will be connected, so that whenever the user will give his vote, well, the certain transaction will be stored.
And they're gone. Okay, that's a pity. We will have to move to the next team. So the next team is going to be Team 16, Team Votech. So please start their next pitch.
Good afternoon, investors. We are the founders of Votech, and we are building an e-voting app. We are looking for an investment of €50,000 for 15% of equity in our company. The problem with the regular voting system currently in the Netherlands is that it costs more than €3 million annually. If our application were to be implemented, this would be reduced by more than 60%. There are more problems that are involved with the current voting system, such as myself being an active voter. I find the task of voting to be incredibly time-consuming. Our application would eliminate this. Another part that our application would resolve is the miscounting of votes and any sort of foul play. Our solution uses smart contracts on the Lightning Network to process the voting in a secure, anonymous, and transparent way. The voting result will be uploaded to the blockchain after the voting process is finished. For issuing the address, a unique number from DigID is used in combination with the government's master key to ensure the address is recoverable and also ensure the citizen is the only person of that address to be able to vote. For the design of the app, we went for a basic and simplistic look. We found this important since there's a wide range of people, part of the target audience, that have varying levels of expertise with technology. We made 3 different pages. One is used to find information about the parties and participants taking part in the election. The other is for voting, for the user to cast their vote. And the third is the account page, where the user can navigate to pages that offer other functionality that isn't core to the application. With your capital and expertise, and our business plan, as well as our design, we hope to be able to make this application a reality and improve voting in not only the Netherlands, but Europe as a whole.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice presentation. We're not on Shark Tank, we're on the hackathon, so I doubt if these people are going to give you 50,000 euros, but still, we're going to see, maybe they will. Let me see if we have the team captain in our main stage, Zwarik. Would you please turn on your camera and does your microphone work? We can hardly hear you and not see you at all. Okay, the second person, Ken, is coming into the channel. Please switch on your camera and your microphone. Hello, Ken.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ken.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine. Does someone of the jury have a question for Ken?
Yes, I have a question. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jose.
Thank you. So regarding the privacy, which are the measures that your solution has to guarantee the privacy of the voting? Thank you.
The privacy of the voting. So I assume you all saw the flow chart. So basically, after you log in with your DigiD, you will have a unique number. And that unique number is always the same. And we have a hash that is that we calculate by using the private key from the government. In combination, there will be a new hash. That will be the private key for the user. And this process is reversible. And then after that, the address will be calculated. Also, you will get the public key as well. And only the address is stored in a decentralized database. So only the address and who the address is voted for is shown in the database. So only that is being monitored, because we know that from the address you cannot get a private key. So you don't know who the voter is. You only know who the address the address votes for.
Yeah, but I can once you cast the vote, I can trace back your IP address and then I can find your identity.
Yeah, but there is a possibility that I am using maybe a public network or using my cellular connection.
So any user of your application should go a cellular connection or everywhere. So they should move around in order to be able to hide their privacy, their identity while they vote.
Yeah, this part we didn't consider that much, but
well,
Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing.
yeah, that's the only part you need to consider, by the way, because everybody can do an application to vote. But then, if I cast my vote and the party knows exactly for who I voted for, then what's your application about?
Yeah, I mean, unless the entire government network is being hacked. But
No.
yeah, because you only see all the address.
Everybody can do an application to vote, but then if I cast my vote, then
I've muted the other person. Go ahead.
Did I lost connection?
No, you didn't. But your team member also talked. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh. Okay. Well, right. So basically, this thing is only the address is stored in a decentralized database. So I don't quite understand that. Like, how can they trace you back by your IP?
Then you need to study a little bit more in that situation. You need to research a bit more, and you see how you can do that. But I'm guarantee that you can do that. It's a network issue. It's not a blockchain issue.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? No? Okay. Then we are. Thank you, Ken, for jumping in, and we are going to have a 5-minute break because this was the fourth team on this block. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with the last block. Welcome back for the third and last block of jury. We have the last 4 teams we're going to see the pitches of, and we're going to start with track number 4, which is about secure and verifiable delivery of electronic documents and messages. It's quite a title. The team we're going to speak to is Team 26, which is the Titan X team from Haagse Hogeschool. Please start their pitch.
Hello, we are Titan X. My name is Just Weijers, and together with Johan, Reginald and Pablo we designed a secure electronic document and messaging delivery system, making it possible for organizations to send classified files over the internet in a decentralized way. We created a solution that is interoperable with existing file transferring systems and added an extra layer of verification and security on top. The solution provides a way to deliver files between entities in an easy, fast, secure and verifiable way. This is done by using a distributed ledger to ensure that the files received are genuine and not tampered with. We can discuss the flowchart afterwards, but let me first show you what the app looks like. First, you log in using your username and password. These are locally linked to your public and private keys. You then select the files you want to send. Our solution is compatible with multiple media types such as images, videos, and documents. You select the person you want to send something to, and then you click the send button. In the background, a connection is created with the file sharing server, like SFTP and the receiving SFTP server. The files are then hashed. These hashes are sent to the distributed ledger. A package is created containing files, transaction hashes, and a random number. This package is sent over the SFTP server. On the top you can see received files. We have 2 new files, so let's go check them out. The solution automatically checks the integrity of the files. The integrity verifies if the received files are the same as the ones that are sent to you. The received file is hashed and then compared against the hash that the sender has stored in the distributed ledger. If these hashes match, it means the file is the same as the original. The receiving party then lets the sender know if it received the files correctly. And that's how we make a secure electronic message delivery system.
Okay, nice presentation. And with me on the main stage are Reginald and Moitié. I probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. Jury members, do you have any questions about the pitch they delivered? You have no questions? Then I have a question. I mean, hello. I see you are storing a hash on the blockchain, right? To make sure it is immutable, which looks a little bit like could use IPFS or something and then store the hash, right? Am I correct? In which way is this different than storing directly on the IPFS where it is immutable?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We store only the hash of the sent document on the blockchain itself, so we're not storing the whole document on the blockchain. So in that case, the data is always you have your own privacy. You're only storing the hash, and we are storing it on a blockchain because it's immutable and it's always on. So you don't get any timeouts of blockchains. In that case, it's always also censorship resistant and transparent. So that's why we're using.
When you upload that information, that file, where that file does go?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. We use SFTP. We directly send it to the SFTP of the recipient. So the sender sends it to the recipient. And also we store a hash of the file on the blockchain. So the recipient.
But what kind of SFTP? What is the mechanism of? Can I be a man in the middle on FSTP?
Yeah, that's a good fair question. That's the challenge that we are tackling. Let's say if you're a man in the middle, a hacker with malicious intent, and you somehow manage to get the file, alter it, and resend it back to the receiver gets altered file. So the receiver will also hash that same file and check it against the hash that is posted by the sender on a blockchain. So
what happen if I don't just have the information and I don't send it back to the receiver. I just want to have that information.
You have that information and you don't want to send it back to the receiver?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? You want to share?
I just want to know how many money you have in your bank account.
Yeah. So then you're sending a file, right, from person A to person B. Person A sends how much money you have in your bank account.
I think I understand your question. So basically what we're trying to do is we're making sure that the recipient is also receiving what he's receiving without, so no other person can receive the file. Like we're confirming it back to the recipient if the file is correctly achieved. And if it's not, then yeah, the file is incorrect.
But if I spy you, I mean, if I spy you are uploading one file, you are sending it with if I remember, if I can spell it correct as you are spelling, and I just want to spy you. I don't want to steal it. I just want to spy you.
Yeah, the connection is encrypted. So if it's encrypted, you can't see. So SFTP works with public and private keys. You have two systems, peer-to-peer, and the connection is private. So it only connects if you both have the public keys and you accept the connection.
How do you ensure sustainability of your business? What are the savings, for example, for one public body have that kind of application?
Sorry, it was a bit choppy. What was the question again?
What is your business case?
Yeah, our business case, we apply the software, so we maintain the software, and companies can purchase the license, and we maintain the software for them. So we have on multiple entries, we have the system running, and we maintain the connections and everything that's safe.
So you just charge the fees to companies and
yes,
yeah, because yeah.
Okay.
And one question, are you managing signature and therefore identities?
No, we are not managing identities itself. We are only, when a company buys the software and registers an account, within the software, a public and private key pair is generated that is stored locally within the software. And we also manage an SFTP server, which manage and is able to send and receive data. So no signatures or digital identities are managed.
Okay, so this is a business-to-business relationship, no?
Yes, business to business, government to government, or large entities to large entities solution.
Okay, so in this case, if you are storing the hash of the document without any random noises, maybe if we have identified the hash of a critical document, will it be possible to trace if some government or some entities are interchanging this exact document?
So yes, we are storing the hash of the document. When let's say a hacker retrieves the document when it's being sent, the document is encrypted. So if you hash the encrypted document, it results into a different hash. So that's why there is it will not result in the same hash.
Okay, great. It's very technical, this solution. I agree, but thank you very much. We're going to the next team, team 28, the team Cypher. So would you please start their pitch?
Hi, we are Team Cypher working on track 4. Our focus is on signatures and user identities, as this is a crucial step for building electronic registered delivery services, also known as ERDS. We propose a new Swedish electronic identity which would upgrade the Swedish National Bank ID, which is comparable to the Dutch DigiD, with additional banking services. Currently, the Swedish Bank ID is centralized and lax in certain aspects, and the primary concerns are security and privacy. Additionally, banks are burdened with the task of providing a digital ID. Are they able and willing to continue providing these expensive services? Should there perhaps be a new approach to define a public-private partnership? The motivation for our proposal is to allow citizens to take control of their identities through self-sovereign identity and also allow for new services to be rolled out. In academic literature, the self-sovereign identity follows 10 principles as propounded by Allen. The bank ID still lacks some of these principles as shown in the legend. The assignment of track 4 contains some specific requirements which are shown in the second column and share commonality with the 10 principles. The third column provides insight into how our solution enhances or upgrades the Swedish bank ID. Our solution paves the way for new potential benefits as it can easily be bootstrapped to the existing bank ID system and therefore it is able to use the existing network. Additional data fields become accessible as well, which allows for rolling out new services such as sending documentation, which is the essence of the task at hand. We propose a solution that is to be hosted by infrastructure, which is being developed at the European level, such as EPSI and the Token project. For the jury, this diagram is self-explanatory. In this slide, we have made an attempt to answer the 9 questions that were proposed for the filling in of the business model. Please feel free to pause the video to investigate the answer in detail. So our team members are from diverse backgrounds with varied interests. We have cooperated quite well during the past 30 hours and we truly enjoyed ourselves. So with our proposal, we are actually inviting you to take control again. Thank you for watching.
Okay. I see. Oh no, we don't have the captain here. We have Renske on board. That in the jury track. We need the captain of Team Cypher. Looking for the team captain of Team Cypher to answer some questions. I don't see anyone. Renske is not going to answer these questions, so I will disconnect her. We're back with the jury. We're lacking somebody for the Q&A. The team from Sweden, can you please send your... there they are. Please, yes. Welcome. Perhaps our jury members have some questions about your application.
Yes, for me, on my side, I still didn't understand how you are going to solve that issue with a bank ID. Still, it was not clear what you're going to apply and how you're going to solve that. It was just some gathering of information in general and what you need to consider, but not as your solution. So I didn't solve your solution.
That's a good question. So initially we would start by basically building further upon their current application, and our team lacks the technical knowledge to dive deep into this part, but it's more about paving the way for making this possible, and then using an infrastructure like EBIS, for instance, or the one provided by Token platform.
If I may add to what Mart just mentioned, our approach is not to talk about the technical aspects of the solution, rather look into the institutional framework which can actually allow for us to implement SSI in Sweden, where we have a more centralized system in place through the bank ID. So the question that we have been trying to grasp is whether there is any reason for us to move into SSI. If we move into SSI, are there any benefits? So these are the questions that we have tried to grapple with it, and we have left the infrastructure issues, the design issues for the European infrastructure collaboration to develop.
Well, I have a feeling that you have to have done that study a little bit in earlier phase and then to come here to propose a bit like a solution, because I don't know exactly what to evaluate you, honestly, because you don't provide us a solution. As I cannot make a feasibility study on your own to see that if you need to provide the solution or not.
Now, when it comes to the need of a solution, we see that already being present here at the government level here in Sweden, because in 2019 the government found that, well, the bank ID system has been developed 20 years ago in 2000, and then finally now we have the mobile bank ID, which has been there for a few years, but the banks are burdened with a lot of responsibility. It has been very profitable for the banks who collaborated to create this system, but it is not able to bring in more services. So we are trying to investigate from an institutional point of view, is it possible to think of a new system like what the government here in Sweden in 2019 through a report envisaged? Because after that report came into being, we see another identity service provider being created in Sweden. It's called Freya ID. It doesn't use blockchain, but it actually has the advantage of physical stores all over the country, which actually corroborates the physical identity document and creates an electronic counterpart to that. So similar to that, we are thinking of exploring the institutional structure for implementing a blockchain-based system and then marrying it with the bank ID system, because they already have the network. And it seems now that the banks are feeling overburdened. This is not only the case here in Sweden. We have seen that it is also the case in Finland. So with that logic, we have approached our solution.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Then we are going to switch to the next team, which is, let me look at my paper, Team 18, Greasy Monkey. So please start the video pitch of Team 18.
We'll be taking a look at the features and the advantages of the Harbor Assist utility. What is exactly the problem? Well, first of all, the harbor isn't very efficient when it comes down to container management. Also, there are a lot of big queues and waiting times for truckers to enter the harbor, and there are a lot of containers being stolen or wrongly taken. The Harbor Assist utility is a decentralized application which consists of a website where truck drivers are able to make a reservation for loading their containers. Thanks to the UA app, truck drivers have all the instructions with them when they need it. To make sure the right containers are being loaded, all the containers are combined with RFID chip, which can be scanned from up to 20 meters distance. To enter the harbor, self-sovereign identity will be implemented. Every container will be equipped with an RFID tag. This tag is scannable by the truck driver with his app, so that the app knows that the driver picked the right container from the harbor. It will be virtually impossible to pick the wrong container. QR codes at the loading dock. Every loading dock or place to put the container at will get his own QR code. Every time a container gets placed or taken away, the responsible person has to scan the QR code of the loading dock. This will make sure that whenever something gets taken away or placed there, it will be updated to the blockchain and everyone knows if this spot is free or not. A few advantages of the Harbor Assist utility are the efficient way of working and communicating. Everyone who works with the app is able to locate containers, and thanks to an application, clear instructions for the truck drivers will make sure drivers won't make the wrong turns. Finally, due to self-sovereign identity, drivers won't take the wrong container, and also people who shouldn't take the containers aren't able to take the containers.
Okay, nice presentation from Team Greasy Monkey. I will not ask where they have this name from. I hope the team captain will join us in our jury main stage channel, so the jury can ask him some questions about this solution. So please, Team 18, send your captain to the main stage. This team, I'll fill the time a little bit with the jury. This team received a wild card, and they were the best at defusing a bomb. So they had to show they were able to work together, delegate responsibilities, and be very agile about it. So and they made a very nice presentation, but maybe they are so agile that they are already gone. That's not what we wanted to see. I will give them another 30 seconds, and then we'll move on. Then there will be nobody to answer the questions, and we only have the pitch to go on. Now, I think Team 18 going once, going twice. Gone. Okay, thank you very much. The last pitch we're going to see before we go into jury deliberations is from a team from the energy track, Indy Charge. So please start their pitch.
Hello and welcome to this project. We made Indy Charge, a basic app where you can save your extra energy, and we're going to show you the app we built around it. So we can see if you create an account, you connect to your wallet. If you did it already, you can just sign in with your password and you're in the app. We have in the app 3 cryptocurrencies which we provide. There will be more in the future as an ID, but in the beginning there will be just 3. Also, can you see your latest transactions and the batteries connected? If we click on a battery, you can see this battery will connect through Wi-Fi. If we add a battery real quick, you can see it's through the Wi-Fi. You can connect and fill in the password, and you can connect. You see, we have some energy stored on this, and we can sell this. If we sell it, we can say how much we want, which currency, and how much kilowatt, and then the other person who will buy can do the same. And the moment he scans it, the transaction is complete. This is how you can exchange the energy. Then another thing is we can it supports the transactions. If you go to your account, you can see all your transactions you all have done in the past. To keep people up to date with how the cryptocurrency and stuff is evolving, we will also add the newspaper, in which we will just add the most important parts of cryptocurrency that link directly to what is on this app. Also, we have this nice piece where we can see all the cryptocurrencies. Like I said, more coming soon. And if you click on one, you can see a nice graph on how the evolutions of the cryptocurrency is going. So you can decide if you want to wait with selling some power, or if you want to wait with selling stuff. That's basically it.
Very much. With us on the main stage is Dries from Team Indy Charge. Jury members, do you have some questions for this
could
last
we
team?
wait for a bit? I might be joined by another team member.
If he is very quick.
Yeah, I'm not very sure, because he said he wanted to study for an exam tomorrow, so we can't
Okay.
be sure.
Jury, do you have any questions for
Yeah,
this
it
team?
doesn't look like he'll join, but that's okay.
Do you have any questions for this energy team and the solution they provided?
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hello? We can
Hello.
hear you. We cannot see you. We see a picture, but
Yes,
yes,
there he is.
there you are. Oh, you are with the sun in your back.
Yeah.
It looks like very divine.
Right.
Do we have any
sharp
questions?
light.
It's a halo.
Do we have any questions for
Sorry.
this person and his proposed solution? Well, either it was very clear.
Yeah, what kind of blockchain you are intending to use for this kind of solution?
We would, we would use a fairly decentralized blockchain where everyone could validate if they wanted to do so.
So if I have a battery, just try to understand. If I have a battery in my home and I'm using it a certain amount of it, like 20% or something, how can I share it with the neighbors to say that some of the energy can I share it with you, or what exactly your solution would allow me to do?
Our solution would allow you to, if there you have a some form of energy storage like a battery, a Tesla Powerwall, whatever it may be, it would allow you to sell part of that energy that is stored there directly to some other person who would then, of course, pay for it.
Is that process manual in general, or you have like a solution to separate that part which I can sell it, or?
What do you mean? I don't really understand.
Well,
the
if I have
question,
if I have a battery which has like certain amounts, let's let make it with numbers. If I have a battery which has 100K, let's say kilowatt of energy, and if I want to sell it 30
Yes.
kilowatt, how can I do that? Is your app who will allow me to distribute that, or is another system which I need to connect?
We hadn't really thought of that, of the real, distributing the energy itself parts. We hadn't really thought that out very much, but I'm thinking maybe some IoT switch that would indeed detect if a transaction has been made and then would automatically let that amount of energy that has been sold onto the net, or sent to the buyer in some capacity.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any other question? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
That concludes.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. That concludes the voting round for this third block, which means that we now are going to switch to jury deliberation. On my screen, let me click a few things.
If I may, I would like to thank the entire team for organizing this entire hackathon. I think I speak for every person who has participated. This was a very great experience, and I look forward to participating again next year, if that's possible.
Thank you very much. We had a lot of fun also. So if you would, if the chance will arise, then it would be very nice, and we would have you gladly. On my screen, there is a link where the audience can vote for, I believe, 5 minutes. While we are going into jury deliberation, there will be a 15 minutes breaks where the jury members are going to fight amongst themselves who is going to be best overall, best design, most impact. And you can vote through this link for the audience prize. It's only going to last 5 minutes because we have some negative experiences with this is a hackathon and those are all hackers, right? So we're not going to test them. 5 minutes, then the voting will be closed. So I will see you in 15 minutes from the jury deliberations. Like I said, I'm very happy to see you, and I'm very happy that you are presenting us with your method, the brain fuel inspiration for our hackathon attendees. I will put you full screen so everybody can see you, and I'll speak to you later when your presentation is done. Good luck.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. You're on screen. Now switching. Yeah.
Goedemorgen iedereen. Goedemorgen. Bonjour. Ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Friso Visser. I am from Brainfuel. And what we do, well, let's keep it simple for today. We do brainstorms. So we're a small startup. We're just around seven people. But in a couple of years that we exist, so 4 years, it's our birthday last week. We did some pretty cool stuff, and mainly because we built a brainstorming deck a couple of years ago. So I grabbed some cards out of the deck, like I think you know this guy, right? You probably heard of Putin before. This is a parrot. I have a treasure chest here, and this is New York. So normally when you do ideation, when you brainstorm, you think, okay, can I come up with a good idea? Can I come up with a good solution? But I don't think that you ever ask yourself the question, what would Putin do? What would Mandela do? What would Trump do? What would Keanu Reeves do? What would Beyonce do? But those are some very important questions for you to ask yourself today and in the rest of your life. Because coming up with ideas like that, with thoughts like that, will help you come up with ideas. There's an echo right now and in the rest of your life. Because coming up with ideas like that, some technical hiccups, will help you very important. Do you feel the? It's better. It was Ralph. It was your fault, Ralph. Okay, so I'm back. I'm not hearing myself 1,000 times. That's great. So these funny card tricks that I just showed you, they're a little bit more complex than what I just told you. But we do that for lots of companies, for governments, for rappers, for the Disney company, for Greenpeace. Everybody can use some creativity, including you. But what is creativity? You know, people are all about innovation. Innovation is this. Innovation is great. We all need to innovate. But creativity is just as important as innovation, if not more important. You know, you can't have innovation without creativity. It's not possible. And let's take a look at the definition that's on the screen right now. Creativity is a phenomenon, sounds cool, whereby something somehow new and somehow valuable is formed. That's what creativity is. You're not just toying around, coming up with funny stuff or making art. That's also creativity. But coming up with solutions, with new solutions for problems that nobody ever came up with before, that's also creativity. It's all about creating something new and something valuable. So even if you have the feeling, I'm not creative, you can create. Everybody can create. So everybody can be creative. You were born creative, actually. You know, children are creative, and that's why we often call creative people childish. Like, my parents still call me childish, but I said no. I create. I'm a creative guy. So, before I dive in the brainstorming methods and the tips for you, you know, this is a scar, and this is a creative way of using a scar for art. But I like what this picture symbolizes for me. You know, you might have ever heard of the term creativity scar, and it actually means that you have a memory, almost traumatic memory from your past when you were in school and you made a beautiful drawing or you wrote a story and you showed it to your teacher and he was like, no, this is not good. Or you showed it to your parents. I made a beautiful drawing of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example. It was really good in my memory. And I showed it to my mom, and then she said, you spelled turtles wrong. And I was like, no, this is my life's work. It's not about the spelling. It's about how I drew it. So those are almost traumatic memories that we have a lot of. Most people have a lot of these from during their childhood, in which you created something and that then someone else said, this is not good enough. And this is a big reason why some people feel like they are not creative. It wasn't stimulated, but you can't grade creativity. You can grade solutions, sure, but you can't grade being creative. So I want you all, at least at the beginning of this hackathon, it's very important to have the feeling that you can create anything and that nothing is wrong. Of course, later on in the process, you have to make some tough decisions, and then things are wrong or right or better or worse. But in the beginning, at the start, everything goes. Anything goes. It's super important. So, on to the tips. These letters, I'm sure you guys can read, but this stands for how might we. So normally when people brainstorm, they just say, oh, we need a solution for this problem. And then you hear a very long sentence about what the problem entices. But you need to create one simple question. Now, how might we solve this problem? How might we solve the energy crisis? How might we make sure that this restaurant gets more visitors? How can we how might we, whatever, how might we get rich? How might we save the world? Make it as specific as possible for you and put it into one sentence. And that really will help you out, not only during the ideation phase, but, well, during the whole hackathon and during life. Try to, because if you don't make one simple question, then everybody will be talking about another part of the problem. You're never sure if you're talking about the same thing, even if you're in the same group, if you don't have one clear, concise question that you're trying to solve. And of course, later again during the hackathon, the question will change or there will be sub questions, but you really need a good starting point. You could also check this. Maybe you can check this starting point, this question, with your stakeholder. Then we have the archetypes, and this is the fun part. Actually, we have a couple of brainstorming or ideation, if you will, archetypes. So everybody is at least one of these, no exceptions. And let me explain them and think for yourself. Okay, this one fits the best with me. Spoiler alert, there will be some people who are like, well, I'm a little bit of that one, but I'm also a little bit of that one. Yeah, sure. Yes, you are. But just for fun, try to pick one. Just try to pick one. We have the shadow. Those are my favorite people, actually. I'm not a shadow at all. But shadows tend to be a bit more shy, a bit more difficult word in English, analytisch. Analytic. That's the one. So they don't tend to be the first one to talk. You really have to ask them questions. What do you think? And then sometimes they're like, I agree with what he said, but no, you're thinking for yourself. You're strategic. You're analytic. You don't talk too much. You think a lot, and that's very interesting. What goes on in that? We need that information. But shadows tend to wait. Sometimes way too long. Like at the end of the ideation session, when everybody's done and you made a decision, this is the idea that we're going with, and then the shadow will be like, I have another idea, but then you were 2 hours too late. So shadow, step up. But other people, if you're not a shadow, try to acknowledge the shadow and ask them questions. Make them feel safe. That's important. If they don't feel safe, they won't say anything. And you don't need group members who don't say anything, right? Then there's the wizards. The wizards is more my archetype, actually. The wizards are people who come up with ideas all the time. We can do this and we can do this and nothing's weird. Anything goes. We can build a rocket to the moon, or we can live on the moon, or let's go to Mars. Let's build whatever, anything actually. But it's good to have at least one wizard in your group. But you don't need 5 of them, for example, because wizards tend to forget what they're trying to solve. Actually, they're busy with being creative and coming up with more cool stuff. So the wizard is very good in the creating part, but they tend to forget being realistic or solving a problem even. And then later on in the process, when decisions need to be made, the wizard tends to be like, this is difficult for me. Can we simply brainstorm again? I need to create some new ideas. But no, you need to make decisions. That's not the best side of the wizard. It is a good. I think the boss is good in making decisions. And the boss in the wizard is also very bad at pitching ideas because they can tell some very interesting, enthusiastic stories, but nobody understands what they're saying. And the boss is like the opposite. He can make decisions, or she, and he can also pitch and tell everybody, okay, so this is what we're going to do in a simple story, like 2 minutes. This is what we're going to do for this Starbucks group, etc., etc., etc. So that's very handy to have a boss. But bosses also tend to find themselves pretty cool. You know, like, yeah, I'm the boss, and this is kind of my team. I kind of lead this team. They all look up to me, and when we come up with ideas, my ideas are pretty good, of course, because I'm the boss. Probably my ideas are the best. So bosses tend to steer towards their decisions as if their decisions are the best decisions. But the best decisions, most of the time, are group decisions. So that's something that some bosses really need to learn. Then you have the critics, and the critics are like my worst fear, almost everybody's worst fear, except for the critics themselves. So the critics are like, why do we even need to ideate? Why is this the right brainstorming question? This is not the right brainstorming question. This is the wrong brainstorming question. I don't have an idea for a better one, but I know this one sucks. Or this whole hackathon. Why am I even here? Why? Why do I need to learn in life stuff? I know everything. So critics can be critical, which can be in a group process. It's not always handy. In the second half of a brainstorm or even a hackathon, being critical is a very, very good skill to have, right? But in the beginning, in the ideation part, it's not the best skill to have because everybody needs to feel safe. Everybody needs to feel happy. They need to have to be able to come up with stuff, even some stuff that doesn't make sense, right? Because in the creative process, it's handy to come up with ideas that sounds out of this world, and later on in the creative process, you can turn those crazy ideas into realistic ones. But the wizard, the critic will, from minute one, they will be like, bah, 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 bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. So they can be a huge energy killer. So if you feel like you're a critic, don't be scared. It's a good thing, but try to be a bit, try to keep it in your criticness in the beginning of an ideation session. So later on in the process, it's all good. Be critical, because some of the other archetypes find it very difficult to be critical, and that's something that you can. And then you have the deputy. The deputy is interesting in a sense because it's very difficult to recognize if you're a deputy. But the deputy is like an assistant, like you have the sheriff and you have the deputy. But the deputy is always busy with the rest of the group, not busy with the contents of the brainstorm. They're like, can I help you out? I see that I see that we lost someone. Shall I call them? Shall I contact Adri to ask some questions? Shall I take that on? So it's not a leadership role per se. It's more like a social glue, helping everybody out, making sure that everybody feels good. And that's not wrong, right? To make sure that everybody feels good. But the deputy is so busy helping others that they tend to forget that they're also part of this team, and they also need to think and come up with ideas, come up with solutions, and work. So these are a couple of archetypes, and just try maybe. We don't have a chat together, but in your own channels, you can simply chat now or do it later. Which archetype you think you are. So don't worry if you think that your archetype sucks. They all suck in a sense, but they're also great in another sense, right? It's good that everybody has some different skill sets, some different personality types. That's all good. So, that said, and this is actually the most boring, difficult slide. So if you're like, oh no, is this a college? Don't worry. This is our funnel, and this is the way to build a brainstorm. So if you see in the middle, then you see the terms divergence and convergence, which are some terminology that was they come up with it in the 80s. So it sounds like a term that's been came up with in the 80s, but it's actually pretty good to know. So the divergence phase is the phase in which you come up with loads of ideas, right? And that's the typical brainstorm, the typical ideation feeling you have. Like, oh, I can come up with more ideas, more ideas, more ideas, more ideas. And wizards are very good in that. But then you also have the convergence side, and that's making decisions. Wizards suck at making decisions, as we just said. So you need bosses and critics more to come up with, okay, so we have like 300 ideas right now. Can we funnel them towards the best? Can we try to do that as a group, of course? Not just that the critic and the boss say, let us choose, but no, as a group, can we make decisions like that? I have a good tip for you later on how to do that. So these are two phases that during ideation that you will come across. But of course, after the convergence phase, there's also a final decision that you need to make. And I think that's a phase on itself. Like, okay, are we going to make this decision right now? Who will make this decision? On what info do we base this decision that this is the right decision? So you really, as a team, hold each other's hands and say, okay, this is the one. And then, of course, it's time for action. It's as simple as that. But before brainstorm, before the divergence phase, there's something called preparation. Well, in a normal brainstorm, of course, you would have your Sharpies and your Post-its, but this is an online hackathon. But there are tools like Mural, and I'm not sure if you heard of Mural or Miro or tools like that, in which you can super easily brainstorm on online whiteboards. And actually, there's a 30-day trial, if I believe, if you don't have it. And it can all be free for you. It's awesome if you really need to brainstorm. Because if not, you will be chatting and you will be like, I have an idea, enter. I have an idea, also enter. That's not really a brainstorm. So try to look up Mural or Miro. And then there's the warming up, because normally when you oh no, spoilers. Ooh, I went too soon. I was too fast. Normally when you work out, if you work out, you would do a warming up, right? But when you brainstorm, people don't do a warming up. And that doesn't make sense, because your brain, it's a muscle. And not everybody can be creative on the spot. Maybe you woke up late, maybe you have a terrible headache, maybe you just read an app or an email that, you were like, oh no, stress. And then 1 minute later, bam, be creative. It doesn't really work like that, except for wizards. But most people, they can't just be creative. So you need a warming up. And this is why I have these spirit animals for you. So, and this is something I really would like you to take your time to pick an animal which you think that fits you as a person. So this will be some awkward silence. I will simply put on the timer for 20 seconds, and then you will look at all the animals and you will pick one. Should have brought some waiting music. Or my singing voice. Left it at home. Ten seconds left. Okay. So I hope you pick one. And the next thing that you're going to do is in your channels, or maybe you have a WhatsApp group or a Signal group or whatever you use, and type in the animal that you picked. Another awkward silence. Very good. See some people doing exactly as I asked them. Points for you. So the next phase, and so for some people this might be weird, but remember ideation, you try to find ideas, come up with ideas that are like, wow, how did we ever came up with this? That's good. So for some people, don't worry, this will all make sense in the end. So you chose an animal for yourself. Maybe you share it with your group. I hope so. And now you have to think what you have in common with that animal, and you need to tell your group. And if you don't do it now, I kind of expect you to do this later. This is an important part of ideation, warming up. So let me just pick one. I'll pick the snail. I'll pick the snail. So let me introduce myself as I would do using the snail, so you can do that later on with your group. And yes, this will be awkward. I told you so. So I'm Friso. I'm a snail. You might not see me as a snail right now because I'm pretty vocal. I'm on the main stage, of course. I move a lot. I use my hands a lot. So I'm high in energy when working. When I'm not working, I'm low on energy. I'm super low on energy. I'm lying on the couch like this. I'm gaming. Curtains are closed. Gothic music is on, and I love being alone in solitude. So I have a family, and I of course I go to go outside to the park with them, and I cuddle them. But I also need my gothic moments in solitude. I need to have some moments in the week that I can be very slow. And my phone is out most of the times. You can't even reach me. So some people who see me during the week and then see me again in the weekend are like, what is it the same guy, or is there something wrong with him? But no, I really need to charge my battery, if you will, or maybe I'm just in my shell. I'm hiding in my shell, and then on Monday I'm back. So this is a slightly awkward story about me that you would never tell anybody, right? This is not a normal way to introduce yourself, but but this really taps into your creative brain, doing stuff like this. So try to do this later on. And if you pick a snail or a mole or a cat, it doesn't really matter. Just try to come up with something. So this is the slide which says warming up. And if you sport, you do a warming up. Why don't you do it with brainstorming? I just told you. But now I haven't. Some people from France here. It would be great. So an association chain is, what is the first thing that you think when you think of Paris? So most people think of the Eiffel Tower or the City of Love or bread. Many people think of bread. Or the Champs-Élysées or whatever. Something Paris makes you think of something, right? So, but then let's say you think of bread. What is the second thing that you think of? Not when you think of Paris, but think about bread, just bread. If you think about bread, then I think about a knife. I need a knife. And when I think about a knife, I think, oh, this is going somewhere dark. I think about stabbing, and then I think about prisons, and I don't like where it is going. But this is what my brain is doing, and this is an association chain, right? So you think about Paris, then you think about bread, and when you think of bread, then you think about a knife. When you think about knife, then you think about stabbing. When I think about stabbing, I think about a prison. So let's stop myself there. So, for example, this is an association chain I came up with a couple of months ago. Like Paris, study trip, bus trip, motion sickness. I told you I'm a gamer, so I used to game when I was in the car or in the bus, and then I always got sick. And then now my daughter likes Pokemon a lot, so you see what's happening here, right? And it might be fun if you, as a team, after the ideation session or before the ideation session, that someone in your group comes up with a city or an object or an animal or a person, and everybody will build an association chain just to get the creativity going. So, and it's not a contest or something, it's just a warming up, right? So, and there are several ones, energizers, warming ups, look them up online. If you think these suck, then you can always find another, but it's important to do that. Even if it does sound that you're toying around, which isn't a problem at all, in my opinion, but warming ups are important. Then we have the divergence phase, and I can talk about this for 4 hours, but I have like 5 or 10 minutes left, so I won't. But normally when you ideate, I already told you, you try to come up with solutions that you came up with, which makes sense. Or maybe you ask the person next to you, do you have an idea? Or you Google like energy challenge, enter, and then see if there are any problems or solutions or whatever. You try to research, market research. And that's good, actually. That's very good. It's a good thing to do, market research. But it's also good to try to see brainstorming as an adventure, right? So come up with characters. You can use our cards, or you could simply look up famous people online and say, what would Spider-Man do? What would James Bond do? What would Jay-Z do? What would whatever, just came up with, if everybody comes up with a character and they bring it to the brainstorm and they say, okay, this is like our board of, we have a new board of directors for our company. Those are these 5 people. What would they say to us? What ideas would they came up with? And don't feel free to come up with people that you wouldn't even like in your board of directors. Like personally, I would not like if Donald Trump was in my board. Some of you might, but I don't. But if he was on my board, he would probably come up with stuff that I would have never came up with. But you can also come look at locations, right? So I'm in Leeuwarden, the Netherlands right now, Friesland. But what if I was in Japan? What if I was on the moon? What if I was in Disney World? What kind of ideas would I came up with then regarding the how might we question that you formulated in the beginning? So different ideas pop up. And most of the time they're less realistic and more creative than the things that you come up with yourself.
Good evening and welcome back. After jury deliberations, we have fought in 5 battles of 3 minutes. And but luckily nobody went to the hospital because they're all in their own houses, in their own rooms. You see there are also some positive sides to the pandemic. I got here all the teams that have won. But before I'm gonna give out all the prizes, I have a few things I have to clear with you. First, I have to thank the jury for spending time and hearing all these great proposals and these great pitches. So Adnan, Jose, Nena, and Peter, thank you very much for your expertise and your time. I hope that with the next hackathon, you will allow us to come back and abuse your time again. So thank you. Then the next thing I have to do is I have to thank all the Blink partners, because without these 14 Blink partners, this hackathon would not be here. They have done and put in a lot of work, so all these Blink partners together made this happen. But there is one person in particular that made this happen, and she's standing next to me and she doesn't know. So Renske, please come, and I have something for you. Thank you very much for making this possible.
That's a bit unexpected, Adam.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
So thank you. I also know that you put in a lot of work, and you also know that.
We did a good job.
We did a fine job.
Okay, now the tension is rising, I think.
Oh, they still have to wait a little bit. I have to thank all these coaches. You saw this picture of all these people who have assisted the teams, also invested nearly 30 hours of their time to help them. So without these people, without these experts and challenge owners, this was not possible. So our thanks go to you. The schools that have participated, Ho West, who did a lot of work in Bruges, and also Saxion in Deventer, that put in a lot of hours and made it possible for the students to work there. So thank you very much. But the people I have to thank the most are the participants, right? All these students, all the people who have put in the hours from Saturday morning till now, Sunday evening, did a lot of work, so this could happen. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you made a lot of friends. So thank you very much for attending this hackathon, and I hope you will be infected like I am and come back to our next hackathon and have fun there also. Now I'm going to explain how we're going to do the unveiling. I ask all the team members to go into their voice channel of their team. All right, go there, put on your microphones and your cameras, because I will jump into the channel of the team that has won. So please be there, and I will see you there. go and be there in your track. I'm seeing some people already waiting there. So we're going to start with the public prize. No, we're going to do the public prize at the end. We're going to start with most impact. The jury said that the most impact was the team that had a big social impact, giving people freedom, giving people the chance to be involved in a democratic system and empowering lots of people who do not have the power to vote at this moment. So the team with the most impact is going to receive a prize for 750 euros and also tickets for the European Blockchain Convention. It is team number 1, Team Oldenburg, and I'm going to jump into their channel at this moment. Let me go there and do it like this. Confirm. It is you.
Yeah.
Yes, you won. Congratulations for winning the most impact prize. And we are going to see that you get it. Not only have you won the prize, but also with one team member less than you started with. So I hope Ali will be okay, and I think he will be proud that you achieved this. So good luck. And
thank you so much. Thank you very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm going to go to the channel of the best design. Let me go and jump there. Let's see. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to jump there and then I'm going to tell what the jury said for their best design. And here we go. This is Team B voter. You won best design. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wait, we did it?
You
yeah,
did
we
it.
did it.
Holy crap, we did it.
Absolutely did it.
Holy,
wow.
What? Damn.
The jury said you had best design, and that was unanimous. So congratulations. You will get a check of 750 euros. And
wow.
For your team, you will also get the tickets for the European Blockchain Convention in December. And well, like I said, congratulations.
Thank you all.
Okay, then we're going to go to the big prize. All right, the big. No, I'm gonna do the audience prize first. Right, this audience prize. This audience prize first. The audience has voted, and it is a team that has won with 6 votes. It had 86 votes, and the number 2 had only 80 votes. And it is a team, and I will jump into their channel. Let me go and look. That is there, and we'll jump there like this. That has won Team Titan X. You won the audience prize. You will get the award. I will spontaneously give you one of the awards, a cash money prize of 250 euros. This was not planned, so we will see that you will get that. And good luck with that.
Thank you.
Then we are going to go
to the voters.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You had a lot of friends. A lot of friends. And your grandma probably too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, then we're going to go to the biggest prize of them all. Best overall. Best overall is a team from, let me see, without giving away too much, where it is in the transport track, and this is going to be, where are they? There is no one in the track. Let me see. People from Greasy Monkey, come on into the track because you have won best overall. I hope you can be able to join. People from team number 18 from the transport track, Greasy Monkey, please join the channel. And it is silent. Well, then we'll just send it to them. They were considered best overall, and they are winning 1,000 euros, and they are going to get also tickets to the European Blockchain Convention. And now this hackathon is over. We have had 36 hours or 37 hours from the start. It was a mighty endeavor. Lots of people are very tired, and they have done a lot of work. So I hope they will take their time and relax and recover from this. I must say I'm always amazed by how much a person can do within 30 hours. I'm always amazed what they can achieve. So I hope they are very proud of their achievement. I am, and I know Bling is also. So I hope to see you the next time, next hackathon, with also an interesting part in that. Renske, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to add something about our fantastic guy who did the whole organizing and the whole presenting. So a big applause from me to Adri. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And thanks all the participants. It was a great experience.
Thank you very much. My voice is nearly gone, so I'm going to shut up. Thank you for participating. Thank you for looking at our stream. I hope you found it valuable and interesting, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.